Exposure to asbestos fibres may result in which illness? Heart disease, skin cancer, lung cancer, dermatitis.
Who has a duty to protect an individual from stress at work? The union, the employer, the government, the local authority.
What does the word sensitizer mean on the packaging of a substance? It must be mixed with water before it can be used. It should not be used under any circumstances. It is safe to use without personal protective equipment, PPE. That it could cause allergic reactions when handled. Who is the best person to control the movement of vehicles on site? The first aider, a vehicle marshaller, the site manager, the company director. Why do building sites use a 110-volt electricity supply instead of a 230-volt supply? It is less likely to kill you. It is cheaper. It is safer for the environment. It moves faster along the cables. Why is methane gas dangerous in confined spaces? Give 2 answers. You will not be able to see because of the dense fumes. It makes you hyperactive. It can explode. It makes you dehydrated. You may not have enough oxygen to breathe.
How can everyone on site help keep rats away? Put all food and drink rubbish into bins provided. Put rat traps and poison around the site. Throw food scraps over the fence or hoarding. Ask the local authority to put down rat poison.
What must be done if an operator is driving plant equipment faster than site speed limits? Alert all other staff on site to be careful. Wait until they stop and talk to them about it. Shout at the driver telling them to slow down. Inform a supervisor or manager.
What action should be taken if you notice a cylinder of liquid petroleum gas, LPG, is leaking? Deliberately drain the cylinder. Turn the supply off immediately, if it is safe to do so. Pour water on the cylinder to keep it cool. Don't report it to anyone except the site manager. When is it safe for a worker to refuel a petrol-powered saw that they are using? When it is turned off and cooled down. While it is running slowly. It can be refueled at any time. As soon as it is completely empty. Which 3 of the following factors must you think about to lift a load safely? Its size and shape. Its weight. What the value of it is. How to grip or hold it firmly. Whether the contents are insured.
How should water be used to reduce the level of dust when cutting concrete using a cut-off saw? Enough to make the first cut, then no more will be required. Constantly the whole time the concrete is being cut. Enough to wet the surface of the concrete before cutting. Constantly until you are halfway through the concrete cut, then stop.
How should your employer provide you with information about site traffic rules? During the site induction. Use a Health and Safety Executive, HSE inspector. Ask other workers on site to tell you. Place a note on the site notice board.
What should you wear if there is a risk of materials flying into your eyes? Laser safety glasses, tinted welding goggles, chemical rated goggles, impact rated goggles.
A risk assessment is undertaken for what purpose? To identify hazards and control risks at work. To find out who was responsible for an accident. A way of reporting risks to the client. To act as an incident register. What does it mean if there is frost around the valve on a liquefied petroleum gas (LPG) cylinder? The cylinder is nearly empty. The cylinder is full. The valve is leaking. You must lay the cylinder on its side. Loading and storage areas should be located where? Close to the welfare facilities. Away from the main construction worksite. Outside the site boundary area. Away from pedestrian-only areas and main pedestrian routes. Which one of the following should a worker do if a mobile elevating work platform (MEWP) does not allow safe access to the place of work? Use a step ladder on the platform. Inform a supervisor that a larger MEWP is needed. Put pallets on the working platform. Stand on the guardrails. What is the maximum length of time that a worker should work from a stepladder in one position? Less than 2 hours. Less than 30 minutes. Less than 90 minutes. Less than 1 hour. What should you do if you have been told how to lift a heavy load, but you think there is a better way to do it? Ask your workmates to decide which way you should do it. Forget your idea and do it the way you have been told. Discuss your idea with your supervisor before lifting. Ignore what you have been told and do it your way.
What two things should you do if you need to run an electrical cable across an area used by vehicles? Run the cable at head height. Cover the cable with a protective ramp. Put up a sign that says ramp ahead. Cover the cable with scaffold boards. Wrap the cable in yellow tape so that drivers can see it.
When is the risk of an accident occurring at work most likely to be increased? When a worker has used drugs before starting a shift. When a worker likes the music on the radio. When a worker arrived late for work. When a worker is experienced.
What are two of the best ways of helping to save energy on site and reduce harmful emissions? Keep windows and doors closed in offices and welfare facilities when the heating is on. Switch off plant and equipment, including generators, when they are not in use. Use a generator rather than mains electricity for the offices and small items of equipment. Report any defective non-powered hand tools so that they can be repaired or replaced.
If you cut your finger and it won't stop bleeding, what should you do? Tell your colleagues because you may need to rest. Wrap something around it and carry on working. Find a first aider or get medical help. Wash it, then carry on working.
What is the best way to make sure that a ladder is secure and will not slip? Ask someone to stand with their foot on the bottom rung. Secure it at the top. Wedge the bottom of the ladder with blocks of wood. Secure it at the bottom.
What is the most important reason for keeping your work area clean and tidy? So that waste skips can be emptied more often. It saves time cleaning up at the end of the week. To recycle waste and help the environment. To help prevent slips, trips and falls.
What should all risk assessments identify? How to report accidents. The employer. The hazards in the work environment. The Health and Safety Executive, HSE.
At what intervals should fall arrest equipment be inspected? Monthly, every time before use. Annually, every time after use. What is one of the best ways to overcome negative workplace attitudes about mental health issues? Tell workmates that you are an expert in mental health issues. Make sure no one with a mental health issue gets hired. Avoid talking about it and the problem will resolve itself. Talk and listen about mental health openly and without judgment. When an accident or near miss occurs, who should be involved in the investigation? Company investors, company directors, the owner of the company, all relevant staff.
When using a grinder or cut-off saw, what type of eye protection should be worn? Reading glasses or sunglasses? Welding goggles? Light eye protection, safety glasses? Impact-rated goggles or full face shield? Which disease is most likely to be caught through cuts, grazes or puncture wounds? Cancer, Legionella, tetanus, dermatitis. Prolonged exposure to sunlight could cause what? Hair loss, abrasion, dental issues, burns. A worker finds a way of working that is quicker than the method statement they have been given. What should they do? Get more work done so they can earn more money. Continue to follow the safe system of work for the task. Inform work colleagues so they can work this way. Get their work done more quickly so they can leave early.
For the use of respiratory protective equipment, RPE, why is face fit testing important? To check that the colour matches work uniforms. To eliminate all accidents in the workplace. It ensures that the equipment will operate effectively. It means the equipment will need less maintenance.
If someone near you is using a petrol cut-off saw, disc cutter, to cut concrete blocks, what 3 immediate hazards are likely to affect you? Vibration white finger. High noise levels. Harmful dust in the air. Contact dermatitis. Flying fragments.
What might happen if the level of oxygen drops below 8% in a confined space? Your hearing could be affected. You could become unconscious. You might get dehydrated. There is a high risk of fire or explosion.
The seal between an item of respiratory protective equipment, RPE, and a worker's face is most likely to be affected by which 2 of the following? The wearer's age, dust levels, beard growth, sunlight, wearing safety goggles. Your doctor tells you that you have hand-arm vibration syndrome, HAVS, possibly caused through work. What should you do? Tell no one, as HAVS is not reportable. Tell no one, as it's not contagious. Only inform your friends at work. Inform your supervisor or employer.
A worker is wearing a harness in a boom-type mobile elevating work platform, MEWP, sometimes known as a cherry picker. Which one of the following should the harness have? A full restraint lanyard clipped to the control box of the machine. A fall arrest lanyard clipped to the structure being worked on. A work restraint lanyard clipped to an attachment point in the basket. A work restraint lanyard clipped to the handrail of the basket.
What is the most important consideration when wearing respiratory protective equipment, RPE? Being able to smell. The weight is correct. It is the correct colour. It has a good seal.
Waste materials should be segregated into different types. What are the two main reasons for this? To avoid pollution. To support recycling. To fill landfill. To prevent theft. To save money. When can a mobile plant operator let people ride in or on the machine? Only if it is designed to carry passengers and has a designated seat. Anytime, as long as the cab door is shut. Only if they have a long way to walk. Anytime, as long as the site speed limit is not exceeded. When fumes are present, which is the most dangerous area to work in? On-site outside, in a wooden building, a confined space, an open space.
Do you have any responsibility for minimizing the amount of waste created? Only if you are told to do so during your site induction. Only during the site cleanup at the end of the project. No, it is the responsibility of site management. Yes, everyone on site has a responsibility to do this.
What does this sign mean? Emergency eye wash. Emergency shower. Safety glasses cleaning station. Warning, risk of splashing. Breathing in asbestos dust is most likely to cause which of the following? Throat infections, aching muscles and painful joints, dizziness and headaches, lung diseases. When planning any work at height, what should an employer's first consideration be? Work at height and prevent falls with barriers. Work at height and arrest falls using personal fall arrest. Avoid working at height where possible. Work at height and arrest falls using nets.
What two things should you do if there is an emergency situation on site? Go to the designated assembly point. Collect personal items from the site office. Leave the area via the nearest exit. Finish what you are doing. Look for other people who may not know what to do.
What is the main risk to this worker wearing only these items of personal protective equipment, PPE? Breathing in harmful dust. Dermatitis to skin. Damage to hearing. Eye injuries.